Hey, AudioRoad listener, what is your profit per mile? How about your cost per mile? Or even your bottom line? Stop driving blind and know your numbers. Profit Gauges is absolutely simple bookkeeping specifically for owner-operators. Have instant access to business and tax reports that will help you increase your profits and keep your money in your pocket where it belongs. Sign up for Profit Gauges today and take advantage of our 30-day free trial. Know your numbers and master the journey. Visit our website at letstruck.com or call our Tribe Care Team at 855-800-FUEL. That's 855-800-3835.
Your money, your taxes, your truck, and your road to success in the trucking industry. This is Trucking Business and Beyond, the show that puts the money where it belongs, back in your pocket.
Good morning, you beautiful bunch of fuckers, and welcome to my world. I'm your host, Kevin Rutherford. It's Tuesday, January 7th, time for the Power Hour. I've got the team here from Pittsburgh Power. Well, sort of the team. Looks like I've got Bruce and Eric. Is Leroy with us today? Don't see him up on the board. We'll find out in just a minute. I'll bring those guys in and we'll get started. I'm sure we have some things to talk about, but today is all about you and your questions. Angie informed me no Leroy today. So we're going to have to wing it on any of the technical electrical questions. We'll just make stuff up today. We'll give you an answer, just no guarantee it's going to be the right answer. There is a lot going on. I just started something new this morning, and I've talked about the fact that my favorite part of the week, with all the things that I do, I love what I do. I love being on the air every day, but my favorite part of the week is the coaching program. It challenges me more. I've got to dig more. I've got to do more research. I have to think more, and the results have been really good. I really think I've helped a lot of people in the coaching program with things I would have never been able to do on the show, and you wouldn't be able to afford if I tried to do it one-on-one with people. I actually have a price that I give people if they want one-on-one advice, and I have somebody who now wants to take me up on the offer, and I'm going to try to talk him out of it. My price for one-on-one consultation is $500 an hour. And if that sounds a little outrageous, it's because I really don't want to do one-on-one consultation. But I get some people, and if they're willing to pay that, I'll try to fit them into the schedule. The one that I'm probably just going to try to talk him out of it is because he wants me to help him buy a trucking company, and he has no trucking background and knows nothing about trucking. And my advice to him, I said, I'll give you my best advice for free. Just don't do it. And he said, but if I do it, you could help. Yeah, I could help you, but I'm going to tell you not to do it. I don't like to fail. And unless you're willing to pay me an awful lot of money to come and run that trucking company for you, which I'm not going to do, you're probably going to fail. In fact, you're almost certainly going to fail. And I don't like to give people advice and then watch them fail. So I'm probably either going to talk him out of it or just turn him down. But the group coaching allows me to go deeper on things. I really enjoy that. This morning, what I did, this is exclusive for our tribe members only. When we started the tribe, I was pretty active in there. I was active in there every day. And for the last, I'll tell you, since X started, I have not been active. And there's a couple reasons. Most of what I do on social media is sharing and commenting on news. And on a site like X, it's really easy for me to do that because I get most of my news today from X. I'm using X like my newsreader now. and it is just a click and I can share it. If I do that same kind of sharing over to the tribe site, it's a link that takes people to X, and nobody liked that. When I did that, I got a whole bunch of complaints. I get it. In order for me to share that same piece of news to our own site takes me about 5 minutes per article, and it's the kind of work I hate doing. Copy this text, go format it on this site, go back and get the link, copy the link, go put the link in, make sure the link's formatted right and works right. I just don't have time to do that. Yeah, and I've been working hard on making our tribe site, which is a paid site. I get it. I want to make sure you get value. Now, we only charge $3 a month, but I still want to make sure that I'm active in that site. And I think I finally got it figured out. And I'm even finding that I might be able to automate the sharing process a little bit, and be able to share more news over there. But what I am doing right now, it's once a week. Maybe we'll grow this. We'll see. Once a week, I do an exclusive video chat with just the members of the tribe site itself. And I was pleasantly surprised this morning. We had over 50 people. It was our first one. We were trying to work through the technical issues a little bit. So in the beginning, I brought other people in so we could chat. The format going forward is that will be the place where I do most of my commentary now. If you've noticed, I don't do nearly as much commentary on the show as I used to because we have so much content we have to get to. Like today, I don't want to take time. I'm taking some time to explain things to you, but I don't want to take time on a Tuesday to do commentary because it's about your maintenance issues. Monday has become all about the industry and the numbers, and I don't have a lot of time there. Wednesday is all health. So if I'm going to do any commentary there, it's just going to be health commentary. Thursday, I only have an hour right now. We're working on some ways to fix that. Friday has become all about efficiency and fuel mileage, and it just doesn't leave me time for free for alls anymore. And it doesn't leave me a lot of time for commentary. So the commentary and the free for alls are going to be video and exclusive to the tribe site. And that's the only place it's ever going to be available. This show, if we want to call it that, we're not going to make available on the app. Not our Audio Road Network app, but it will be on our tribe site app. So you do have to be a member, $3 a month, and I'm already looking forward to next Tuesday is what we're doing at Tuesday mornings at 7 a.m. There's a good chance I'm just going to throw another one in this week, just for the fun of it. It's not going to be scheduled every week, but I had a lot of fun this morning, and I can see a lot of potential with that. And I like the fact that it's exclusive to our tribe members, and I feel like we are bringing a way more value than $3 a month. We don't have any plans to raise the price, although we should. We'll see. Um, but like I said, I had so much fun this morning that I'll probably do another one this week. Other than that, I have a ton of things to talk about, but I am going to bring in the team here from Pittsburgh Power. Bruce and Eric will bring you all in at the same time. Good morning, guys. How much snow did you guys get? That's right. You're not in Pittsburgh. Eric, what's the snow look like outside? Ooh, ooh, yeah. At least you didn't get buried with that, though. Oh no. Oh no. Oh. Yeah, I can imagine. All right. Ah, yeah, go ahead, Bruce. Ah, oh, good. Yeah. Oh, wow. That's fun. That's for sure. Yeah. Oh, good. Got it. Ooh, okay. Interesting. Okay. Got it. All right. Got it. Okay. Okay. Eric, jump in here. Good morning. I am I feel like I'm on top of the world, honestly. I feel like it's like everything changed. I know part of it is just kind of the mood with what's going on in the country. Everybody I know in business feels a lot more optimistic right now. Bruce, you mentioned that in a text this morning, and I'm hearing it from a lot of people. That's part of it. The other part of it, I talked about this yesterday. I think I'm doing so many events, talking to so many people, and doing so many phone calls. I can't remember where I said what anymore. Um, I feel like I've been in a kind of a funk since COVID, and everything that happened around COVID and what was happening with the economy and um, it feels and I know that was self-imposed. I didn't have to let that affect me the way it did, but I kind of woke up. I took some time off over the holidays, but not really like vacation time off. I was busy the whole time, and a lot of what I did was kind of reevaluate what I was doing in business, personal life, and I got back to the productive habits that I had really just kind of let go. The biggest one for me, I have always been far back. Well, if I go back to being a kid, this wasn't true, but since I've been in business, I've always been an early riser. Like my ideal time to wake up is sometime between 4:30 and 5 in the morning with no alarm clock and have several hours of really quiet time where I can work on, the idea from the 7 Habits book of sharpening the saw, whether it's reading or meditating or working out or some of the things I've worked out on the stress protocol, red light therapy, and all those things. And I have to have time for those. Once my day starts, then all of that stuff kind of flies out the window, and I just know I'm not gonna get to it. By the time the workday's over, I'm too tired, and I don't wanna do that kinda stuff, and I had gotten out of that habit, and it had gotten so bad, I was waking up struggling to wake up at 7:30, and that barely gives me time to get ready for the show. And I changed that, and just that one change, everything else seemed to fall into place, and I'm just loving my mornings again. I was able to do this show on our own website this morning. I couldn't do that before because I never had time in the morning. So, I'm feeling pretty good about a lot of things. Yeah. It Yeah, yeah. It that I love that. Yeah, I love that. Remember remember the '70s? Interestingly enough, we just lost Jimmy Carter, but a wonderful human being, and just going to say it, a horrible president. It was a bad time in the economy. The mood in the country was lousy, and then we had the Reagan years, and everybody just about got behind Reagan. There was even the term Reagan Democrats. That really isn't happening a lot today, although we did see quite a bit of that, really. Bruce, does it kind of feel that way again to you? Eric? Yeah, right. Ramaswamy was, I don't believe he was ever a Democrat. I'm pretty sure he's been pretty conservative from the start. Yeah, 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 yeah. Bruce, let, let me give you my take on this. Go ahead, finish up. Yeah, yeah, just I it Bruce, you remember Dale Howard, right? Dale's we haven't heard from Dale in a while. Dale's a fantastic human being. I just love Dale. We had many, many talks. We wanted Dale to work for us. And it was just way too difficult because of that issue that you just talked about. You can hire any migrant you want to go pick stuff in your field, but if we want to get real quality people out of Canada, it was next to impossible. So let me give you my take on the political affiliations. Our entire political spectrum has completely shifted. And let's talk about the Democrats first, because if we look at Democrat part, we have to separate the party from people's beliefs. So we associate the Democrat Party with liberal thinking, and we associate the Republican Party with conservative thinking. But that's pretty black and white. There's a whole lot that you do. I don't fit into either one of those parties. So that just doesn't work for me at all. The true liberals, I wish we had more of those left They seem to have all disappeared, or actually, they haven't. The true liberals, I think, somewhat what we would have called liberal before, are now joining the Republican Party, like Elon and Tulsi and RFK. They have just abandoned the Democrat Party itself has abandoned what they stood for forever. They were the biggest supporters of the First Amendment. That was kind of their core. And the Republicans, their core is kind of the Second Amendment and more conservative beliefs. The Democrat Party itself, along with the media, has totally trashed the idea of the First Amendment. They absolutely control speech now every chance they get. And it's the Republican Party who now supports free speech, which I believe is the biggest issue we face. If we can't talk about things the way we want to talk about them, we do not live in a free country. And nothing else can work right if you don't have true freedom of speech. So it seems to me like the Democrat Party, not the people, not the voters, the Democrat Party has just gone off the rails. And I don't know what their real agenda is anymore, other than doing anything they have to stay in power. The Republican Party, in my opinion, has also shifted. And what I believe now is I said this when Trump first ran. People said, "Oh, he's a Democrat. Why is he running as a Republican? Oh, look, he was always Democrat." He was neither one. I think he was where I have been for a long time, and I think most people, or a lot of people, if they stopped and really looked at all of their beliefs, stopped listening to all the noise from the parties, would probably fit best into the Libertarian Party, where you are fiscally conservative, you want a smaller government, you want freedom, you don't want to be told what to do and what not to do, but I don't believe I have the right to tell anybody else what they should do or not do. And that's kind of a libertarian belief, and it really pulls from both of the old two traditional parties. And I said the reason you can't seem to fit Trump into one of these categories is because I believe he's libertarian. He just came from the Republican side. Look at Elon. Elon's been a lifelong Democrat, but if you really looked at his beliefs, I don't think he fit into the Democrat Party. I think he was more of a liberal libertarian, not as much of a conservative libertarian. Tulsi falls into that same category. Vivek Ramaswamy, right. He's a libertarian, not really a conservative Republican. So I think the Democrat Party, I don't even know how to describe them anymore. I think the Republican Party has become really the Libertarian Party, and that's why we're pulling from all these other groups. And I love it. I've been waiting for this. So I had this discussion on my little get together this morning. By the way, if anybody wants to be a part of that, there is a small fee to be in the tribe site. It's $3 a month. Um, we pay more in fees to process the credit card almost. We pay about half that, $3 out to fees. The reason we charge $3 is it's social media, and we used to have a bunch of trolls that just wanted to cause trouble. And if you deleted them, they just created another account and they came back under a new name and they caused trouble again. So the $3 a month lets us know who it is. You now have to swipe a credit card or put in some kind of payment information, and we know who you are. And if we delete you, you can't keep coming back. That's the only reason we charge well, it was the original reason. Now I like the fact that it keeps it a little more exclusive. I think I just said I might do another one of these this week. I think I'm going to try a schedule of Tuesdays and Thursdays. Those are good mornings for me. I don't have to do really any show prep for this show because you guys bring all the content really. I might have a couple things to talk about. Thursdays, I only have an hour on the live show, so I don't do a ton of show prep there. I just leave it open for questions. So if anybody wants to join me on this 7 a.m. here on the West Coast, kind of little get together. Call it Coffee with Kevin. We're just going to kind of get up. I'll talk about the things going on that I don't get time to on the show anymore. We'll let people join in. You could either listen while you're driving. It's not a really good format while you're driving because it's video. But if you're sitting someplace and you want to jump in, we had 4 people in the discussion this morning. I could have added more. I had a lot of fun with it. So if you want to do that, go to letstrucktribe.com. That's our tribe site. You'll sign up there. That's the $3 a month. And then you get notified, ahead of time that we're doing it and the schedule, and you just jump in and see it. I think we're going to have a lot of fun with that one. Bruce, I'd love to get you on there sometime. Just jump in and join us on the video, and if people want to ask you questions, or you just want to talk about things we talk about now, politics or snowmobiles or whatever. Oh, we'll certainly do that. I'll bet. That's right. Yeah, right. Yep. I I had that experience for 7 months. Lisa and I decided for the fun of it, we rented a condo on the beach in Daytona. And you are absolutely correct. A condo building like that is like a bad Facebook page. You get that same, and here's the problem online. Not only do they wanna cause trouble, what they really try to do is engage you in arguments because they have all kinds of time. I don't have any time. I don't discuss things on social media. I really don't. I do not get into conversations and back and forth. It takes too much time, it's inefficient, and you lose all the nuance of communication. You don't know if somebody's being sarcastic, if they're trying to be funny, if they're angry. You don't it's so hard to feel all that nuance. So for me, social media is a place to find new tribe members. It's marketing for us, and it's a place for me to post things that I'm interested in or looking at, but I post it. People can reply and talk all they want. I don't respond. I just don't have time for that kind of stuff, and that's what the trolls wanna do. They just wanna drag you into their conversation because 'cause they're bored with their own life. So the $3 a month thing fixed that completely. We have not had a single problem since we did that. Yeah. So, we'll get you in there on one of these or any morning you wanna join. Yeah, absolutely. I'll yeah. right. My thing for that would be if I own a motorcycle again, which I won't. I don't know. I might just for the fun of it. I've been getting into some stuff that I used to really enjoy. I could see myself buying a motocross bike again, or maybe an enduro, a trail ride, or something like that. But it would always be a Honda. At 6 years old, I got my first Honda Mini Trail 50, and 2 years later, I got my XR 75, and then I did switch to Suzuki for a while because they were there were a couple years there where they were so far advanced, with everybody else when they brought out their RM series. Man, I'm going back a long way, that I switched, but I never liked them quite as much. It was a better motorcycle. At that time, there was no doubt, but I just didn't it didn't feel like a Honda to me. Yeah, yeah, right. I think so. I think so, and I think, yeah, yeah, I know. There there is. Kinda holding my breath. I didn't see I haven't been watching any mainstream news. I didn't. Ah, right. I think I think it's hard for true hardcore liberals to ever switch, and I think the same thing for Republicans. I don't think you would ever see a true hardcore conservative switch to the Democratic Party. But I do think the libertarians, John Walco and I had this discussion a lot because John is a registered Democrat. He votes Democrat, and he told me that. And I've always kind of I'm a registered libertarian, but you can't vote for libertarian candidates because we don't have any. So I have to vote Republican. And John and I would start talking about politics, and we would realize we agree on way more things than we disagree on. And we kind of both came to I knew I was libertarian. I've known it since my late 20s. John came to the conclusion. He says, he said, I don't think I'm really a Democrat. He said, I think I'm just a little slightly left of you as a libertarian. He said, you're kind of a right leaning libertarian, and I'm a left leaning libertarian. That's what I think we're seeing with Trump and Elon and Tulsi and a lot of these people. They might be slightly left of center on some things, but we agree on a lot more things than we disagree on. Yeah, we had that discussion many times and came to that conclusion that that's really how we felt, that we were not far apart on politics at all. Couple things here and there, but they were pretty minor. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, boy, did it. Me too. Now, Bruce, there's an interesting story here. If you go back, I don't know if you were watching this particular rally, but if you go back and watch the rally where Trump announced Kennedy and Kennedy walked up on stage with him. Do you remember that one the first time? can't remember where it was. He did so many rallies. I remember I can see the scene in my mind where Kennedy's walking up. Here's why it's stuck in my mind. I had a guest on my show, on my health show, before anybody had really heard her name. And her name, she wrote a book, and I got an early copy of the book, and I loved the book, so I immediately invited her on the show, and she accepted. And I'm glad she did because had I not made that relationship then, I doubt that I would have ever gotten her on my show. Um, Let me check something real quick. Hold on. Um, Her name is Casey. Yes. Yeah. So Casey was on my show. And, we had even talked about we had that big fall party, we invited you guys out and you couldn't make it. She was thinking about coming to that because she's from here in Portland. Um, if you go back and watch Kennedy, I'm pretty sure it was Kennedy that said it, the way Kennedy and Trump got together the original time was because of Casey and Callie Means. And one of them set it up on stage. I think it was Kennedy that said it. But they he actually said, "This is how this occurred." And it was Casey and Kelly Means that, Sarah just said that rally was Phoenix. That sounds right. They're everywhere now. Yeah, they did Tucker's show, which was outstanding. If you go back and watch that one, they did Joe Rogan's. Yep, 10 years. Yeah, becoming mainstream. I didn't think it ever. Yep. Yep, preservatives, additives, red dyes, seed oils, grains. We've been through all of that, and I never thought it would become mainstream. I never thought it would become a political issue. So it's pretty exciting to watch that happen. All that stuff. Do you realize, Bruce, that we're one of the few countries in the world that allow that? Everybody else has even the exact same product. If you look at Fruit Loops, not like I'm recommending anybody eat any version of Fruit Loops, but in the United States, there's like 23 ingredients in Fruit Loops, and most of them you can't pronounce, and they're all artificial and made in a laboratory somewhere. If you go to Europe, they have to color their Fruit Loops with beet juice and turmeric and things like that. They're not allowed to use those dyes. That's most of the world. Yeah. Bruce, if you really want to, you can grow very natural yellow cauliflower, purple cauliflower, green cauliflower. I've grown them all. They're not hard to grow that color naturally, but it costs more. So we'll just throw some cheap synthetic dye in there that will give your kids autism and ADHD, but don't worry about it. All right, let me check real quick. We've got 2 calls. Bill's been there a while. Bill, thanks for being patient. Mike's on there now. After Eric, I have one more topic I want to talk about because I think this is something you guys are going to want to know about. It's brand new. Yeah, it's brand new technology. It's actually a combination of 2 technologies. One's that's been around for a while, and, I'll explain it here in a little bit, but you're going to hear me talking a lot about this, and I'm just gonna make this statement, and I made this same statement this morning on that, um, meeting. This, I believe I've been through all the technology revolutions. I was building computers in the early to mid '80s. I was on social media in the late '80s before anybody had even heard of the internet. I was around for the first smartphone revolution. I've been front seat to all that stuff. I'm going to make a statement about this technology that I'm talking about right now. It will it will be 3 to 4 times more disruptive than anything we've seen so far. It is going to change everything in our life. Most of it, I'm hoping, is going to be good. There are some things I'm a little worried about, but most of it is going to be good. So I'm gonna talk about that a little bit, and we will get to calls today. We have plenty of time. So, Eric, go ahead. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh, right. Oh, Wow. Hey, it's interesting because as you were telling me about this, that is such a hard thing to troubleshoot and diagnose. But as you were telling me that, I thought, this is the reason you should listen to this show. I say we, I just stand here and, push buttons and give some color commentary, but you guys discover this stuff way before anybody else ever does. It's kinda like me and the health thing now, and this is where you wanna be listening if you wanna stay up on top of this stuff, and you could save yourself an awful lot of money and headaches when you learn these kinda things this early. Right. Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, good. I love that. Wow. No, no, I am seeing that attitude across the board. One of the things that kinda gives me an advantage in this industry is at some point, I either touch every part of the logistics industry, or I have relationships, or I have partnerships. So I am seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it in freight rate. Freight rates are up. Freight rates are up, owner operators are making more money, they're happier, they're willing to spend more money on upgrades or just better maintenance, and I across the board, from CEOs of big companies that I deal with right down to owner operators just getting started, there is a more positive attitude right now, and I have not felt anything like this since the Reagan years, and I was pretty young back then, but I still remember that feeling really well. Yeah, go ahead. Oh boy. Oof. Yeah. Wow. Oh, I agree. So right, right. So I've got several analogies to what you just talked about that I wanna get to. Bruce, you had something else though, right? Okay. Alright. So I'm gonna go back, to your analogy of I would say the biggest differentiator between yours there's lots of them, but, between your shop and virtually everybody else, and I tell people this all the time. One, just the pure knowledge you guys possess inside that building. Years and years of experience. But what that does, I think this is the real key. I've talked about this. I recommend a book about it. Leroy and I talked about it a lot. The idea of really efficient troubleshooting. And that takes one, you have to know how to troubleshoot. You have to know those processes, and that was what the book was. But then, once you know that process, the more knowledge you have, the more experience you have of so many different situations, the more efficient you can be at your troubleshooting. So you know what the steps are, and you look at it, and go, "Huh, I can skip a bunch of those. I've seen this so many times. I know the odds are it's this. And if it's not this, it's going to be this." So you're not just randomly throwing darts when there's 18 things that could be causing this issue. You guys are really efficient at nailing that down, and that saves everybody money and time. Do you agree with that? That's right. Wow. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. So I'm going to make an analogy, Bruce. You and I were texting a little bit this morning, and we were talking about sleep, and you and I have talked about sleep a lot. And we've both struggled with it. And here's the analogy. So if I were to bring you a truck, Eric, and I've got some weird problem that nobody else has been able to find. You guys get this a lot, but I also have a ton of codes, several other issues that haven't been fixed. We've just kind of thrown some band-aids at it to keep things going. The emission system is sooty and a mess. Um, is that an easy truck to troubleshoot? And do you even want to try troubleshooting from that point? Or are you going to go back and say, we have to fix this right? We've got to clean this up. We've got to clear these codes. And then once we have a line, we can then start to troubleshoot your weird problem. Absolutely. Right. So here's my analogy on the health side of things. Bruce, you mentioned we started doing this 10 years ago. We have so many incredible success stories of people getting back to their normal body weight, what they weighed in high school, getting rid of all their joint pain, their muscle aches, their skin conditions, their digestive issues. We have story after story after story like that. And I love that. We also and I've learned a lot more about this in my coaching program now because I've been able to do a deeper dive with people. We run into some people, and I'm one of them, where no matter how healthy I am, I still have an issue that I can't seem to solve. And for me, it's sleep. The interesting thing is I can operate really, really well on 4.5 hours now. I don't want to. I'd really like to sleep 6. If I could sleep 6 hours straight every night, it would be ideal. I don't need more than that. I don't want more than that. 4.5 hours is just a little that's a little extreme for me. But I can still work 16-hour days and have tons of energy. It's just kind of annoying not being able to sleep straight through and I'm making some improvements, and I think I finally made a break. And it goes back to the same thing. We have some issues that no matter how clean your diet is, and mine's clean, it's been clean for 10 years, there are still some problems. And I think I finally figured out what it is. We live in a very, very toxic world. Everything around us now is toxic. Our homes, our cars, clothes, all the chemicals being used everywhere. If you're eating a clean diet, that's the only part of your life we've cleaned up. I've also worked on all of our cleaning products now. We only use a couple, and they're all natural vinegar-based cleaning products, um, personal care products. Um, Basically, I use goat's milk soap. That's about all I use on my body to clean anything is goat's milk soap. I have a really natural charcoal-based toothpaste, no junk in it, and a very, very natural deodorant that I only use if I'm going to be around other people. It freaks people out. I don't care. Um, that's it for personal care products. Lisa's really the same way. She might put a couple other things on her hair, but no makeup, none of that stuff. So we've cleaned up our everything we can control unless we were willing to go out and live in the woods somewhere and not interact with anybody. And even then, our water's not as clean as it used to be. Our air's not as clean. I live in the Pacific Northwest for a reason because it is probably the cleanest part of the country left. But our world's toxic. There's nothing we're going to do to avoid it all anymore. And for a long time, I avoided this issue of what we refer to as detoxing. And the reason I avoided it is if you do detox wrong, not only can you make somebody really uncomfortable, you can send them to the emergency room. You do a detox on somebody, like a digestive detox on somebody that's not ready, and if they've got a bunch of gallstones, for example, which is common these days, you'll put them in the emergency room, and it's painful. So I've been very careful. I've basically just avoided it. And I finally realized this is part of the problem. If I'm working with somebody who is toxic, people even have parasites, and that freaks people out. But many, many people have parasites. They don't realize how common that is. You're never going to get to a good baseline and solve these problems until you can detox somebody and then continue to detox them on a pretty regular basis. So I have done a huge amount of work on detox now, and I'm trying to put it together into a kind of a package where you would just go through this process, the main process maybe once a quarter. Kind of like remember when we used to do the diesel force clean out on a regular basis. Now with the catalyst, we don't have to do that, and some of the other things we've learned. We're going to have to do this. And then we're going to have to live in a way that detoxes us more often. Our body has 7 different pathways to get toxins out, but they're so clogged up and we don't access them anymore. People don't sweat much anymore. We all stay in comfortable 70 degrees everywhere we go, our cars, our vehicles, all the buildings. And if you don't sweat, you're missing out on one of your biggest detox pathways. So part of this is sweating but so here was an interesting thing, and here's how I'm going to tie this into the engine. Uh, I think all of us would agree when we get that engine running properly. Forget all the other factors in fuel mileage. If the engine is running properly, that engine itself will use the least amount of fuel possible to get the job done, right? But if it's all clogged up and gunked up and it's not burning fuel properly, which is a big reason why the catalyst is so important, then your fuel mileage will suffer for that, right? You'll have to put in more fuel than you can use, and then that exacerbates the problem, doesn't it? Because it's the combustion process that gunks everything up. Does that all make sense so far? So, here's what yeah, so here's what I discovered when I did this detox process, and I went pretty deep into it. I did a pretty aggressive digestive detox, to clear out the liver and the gallbladder and the rest of the digestive tract to get rid of parasites if they're there. I also did a heavy sweat detox, and we actually have a product. It's a clay powder that's magnetic, and you dissolve this magnetic clay into a really hot bath so that you start sweating, and the magnetic clay pulls out heavy metals right through your skin. So that was another form of detox. So I did this heavy detox regimen for about a week, and I'm going to repeat it again here soon. And here was one of the most powerful things that changed, and I noticed it right away. Eating the way I eat, which is mostly carnivore, I eat probably half the amount of food I used to eat. And that was pretty shocking to me. When I did this detox, I now eat half of what I have been eating on carnivore for all these years or keto. And I thought, what is going on? How do I even make it through a day on, I swear I could survive day after day after day on about 4 to 6 ounces of beef and a couple of eggs. And that would be it. And I have no appetite. Put food in front of me. I don't even really want to eat it. I made a beautiful prime rib over the holidays, and I was sad because every day I would look at it and go, I wish I wanted to eat that. And I just don't. And I thought, what's going on here? Well, I think my digestive tract was so kind of gunked up and toxic that my body was requiring more fuel than what I really needed. And I think that our bodies can get by on really, really small amounts of food and be really healthy. And that once you get used to that, um, that's pretty liberating. I don't have to think about food anymore, ever. I mean, if I go all day without eating, I have to stop and think sometimes, did I eat today or not? And I really think it's this same analogy of your body becomes very, very fuel efficient when you get it tuned up and cleaned out. I'm getting ready to finalize this detox, and then I'm going to need some guinea pigs. I'll use my coaching program to get some other people to try this. And I have to be careful. Even that digestive detox, we've got it down pretty simple, but there's got to be kind of a warning on the front end. Um, you shouldn't do this with some guidance of, is there a possibility you've got a bunch of gallstones? We might even have to go do a scan to make sure you don't. I'd hate to put somebody in the emergency room with this, but I think it's pretty powerful if we can do it right. Will do. And Bruce, I think it's my sleep is not perfect yet. It's still short, but the quality of it is better than it's been in years. I still wake up more than I want to, but I'm seeing improvements every day, and that never happened no matter how hard I worked on it before. And I think it's this detox process. So with that, we will get to some phone calls. Bill, thanks for being patient. What can we help you with today? That's right. That's right. All right. Anything else? All right. You waited an hour and 8 minutes for a 30-second answer. I love that. Let's go to yep, I agree with all of it. Right. All right. Mike in California, what's on your mind today? Sometimes, let me jump in, and you might be surprised at my answer. Um, I know you, and I know how you're approaching this. And one of the advantages of doing so many things right, most guys who get into this do most things wrong. And then they suffer and they struggle and they're at risk of going out of business. The beauty of doing so many things right is you then will have the flexibility to say, you know what? If this is that important to me and it's going to make me happier, and if I do this right, I don't have to get 10 miles to the gallon. What if I could get 8 or 8.5 and I had a truck I really love to drive? As long as you do enough things right in your business, you get the freedom to choose that. And that's the beauty of being in business. We get to make our choices, but only if you can afford to make those choices. That's what I struggle with people. I'm not here to tell anybody what truck they should drive. I'm here to tell people I will tell you what your odds are of surviving in this business and what your odds are of making money and building a good future business that supports you financially. And if you make enough decisions right, then you're allowed to or able to make other decisions that might not be optimal. They might not be pure profit bottom line stuff, but you're gonna be in business, and you're gonna make enough money to be happy, and I do it in my business. We don't run our business on pinching pennies everywhere. I've done enough good things and enough right things in my business that if I decide I don't want an $800 Google laptop or whatever the hell they make, I'm gonna go spend $3,000 on a Mac. And it may not be efficient, but it makes me happy, it makes me my day better. So, like I said, I know you're making a lot of right decisions. This might be one you wanna think about again and say, "Maybe that truck is important enough that I'm gonna give up a little bit for that." Yeah, well, first off, exactly. I'm not sure who that is. It and that I would tell you, I've gotten a little peek into some things that are coming. That trend is gonna continue as far as being more proprietary. Let me make this statement because I get this in a lot of ways. Um, there is absolutely plenty of Cummins out there that are getting better fuel mileage than a Volvo or a Freightliner or whatever. That's the reality. You can't fight against the reality. I could go so far as to say there are classics out there that get better fuel mileage than aerodynamic trucks. That's you just have to face that. Here's what I look at so that we can make good decisions. Hands down, right now, If I have to squeeze every tenth of a mile per gallon I can out of a truck, it will be the Volvo platform. Because if we do everything right, that platform has more potential than any other. Freightliner would be next, and then we would go to pack car. But that doesn't mean I can't build a pack car that gets better fuel mileage than some Volvos. So we have to look at it that way. And are you in a situation where you have to squeeze every tenth of a mile per gallon out of the truck? And most people aren't. It for some people, that's their priority. It was always my priority. It was almost like a challenge for me. And I just wanted as much profit as I could get out of every mile, and that worked well for me. But I've said there are also times in business where I make decisions that aren't based on the bottom line, they're based on my happiness. So that's the way to look at this. If you just want to squeeze every mile out, I'll tell you the Volvo platform is has the lead in that right now. The other thing I'll tell you that we just kind of figured out, and I'm sad to announce this, the international platform, the new engine that we were hoping that was going to be so great, might be, except the whole package itself I wouldn't recommend it. They're gonna have some problems for by probably a couple of years at least if they don't get all their doo-doo in one place. The whole package for international right now, I wouldn't even consider it. Y and that would sound about right. Um, the potential. Oh, no doubt. And that's where we look at what is the potential of each truck. Here's another way to look at without trying to complicate this because it does start to get complicated. I could also make this statement. If you're in an operation where you need to go fast, if we take 60 miles an hour as our base speed and we compare all the different engines, platforms, body styles, all of that, there's going to be a differential amongst all of them. If we then take all of those same parameters and instead of 60 miles an hour, we make it 70 miles an hour, the differential is going to get bigger. The faster we go, the more benefit there is to the modern engine architecture, the modern aerodynamics. If we have to go 75, that differential gets bigger again and it's exponential. So what that tells you is if you are in an operation where you could run 60 or 57 like I used to, then those decisions aren't as important. You could go with a less efficient truck and not see as big of a differential. If you have to run 75, then the new Volvo, the Freightliners, the way we're speccing them, they really shine up at those speeds, which is crazy for me to say because I don't like going that fast no matter what. But that is the reality of this. There is a differential, and as we go faster, that differential gets bigger exponentially. You take an inefficient truck at 75, you're going to be down in the 5 range. You take one of these really efficient modern platforms, and you might still be doing that 8.5 at those speeds. It it's looking it it's looking more and more like you should build the truck you really wanna drive. It's tough. I know. Yeah. I Yeah, absolutely. Bru Yeah, he did. Uh, Bruce, I was, y you know how I feel about aerodynamics, but Bruce, I was pretty proud of the fact that I'm gonna give credit to you and you and I came up with some ways to build those really, really efficient classic trucks. I thought that was awesome. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Bru Right. Eh, uh, yeah, absolutely. Yep. Um, Bruce, I'd like to say people like us and the people you hire and the people we try to associate, um, we have PhDs. We have a PhD in results. 'Cause that's what matters to me. I don't care how much knowledge you have or how much education you have or how many initials you have behind your name. What matters is what are the results you're able to get in everyday life? Yeah, absolutely. We we all have a mutual friend, who holds the record. We're remember, we talk about fuel mileage. I'm not doing fuel mileage just to do fuel. Well, I do sometimes because I'm a freak about it. But ultimately, the point of everything I teach in business is to teach you how to put as much money to the bottom line as you possibly can or want to. It's nice to look at your bottom line and go, I'm pretty happy with that. And if I want to go buy a new truck, I'll go buy a new truck. And if I want it to be this, that's nice. I want to help people get to that point. So I track this all the time. Matt Youngblood, we all know him. Um, Matt holds the record as far as I've seen, and I do a lot of accounting and I have access to a lot of other accounting for single truck owner operators. Matt set the record for the maximum amount of profit put to the bottom line in 1 year with one truck and one driver. $274,000. And Matt, I believe, I don't think I'm speaking out of turn here. I don't think Matt went past the ninth grade. He is very intelligent. Yeah, but that's the difference between intelligence, um, only on older trucks. But yeah, absolutely. On other than as far as I know, I don't track the fuel mileage game quite as close as that, but I think everybody that's getting those kind of numbers is probably using our software to track it. So I know most of them. Yeah, Steve Crone's still doing incredible. He's tracked both him and Matt. Here's another thing they have in common. They have tracked all of that fuel mileage, millions of miles on our app, and all the history is there. You can go back on Steve or Matt's truck in our app, and anybody can do it because you can see every truck that's in our system. You can go back over 1,000,000 miles on them tracking fuel mileage, see every tank. Uh, yeah. Yeah, both of those 2 are not. Matt keeps getting tempted because he likes playing that fuel mileage game. He's always tempted to go buy a new modern truck and build it and see what he can get, but his truck's so efficient and it's paid for itself so many times over. It's tough to go write that big check if you don't have to. Yeah, yeah, that would be fun. All right, Mike, anything else? Oh, yeah. Awesome. Well, then he's a guy to follow, and, Ilya, I forget what we've got him scheduled, but I don't remember when he's coming on, but he's gonna come on my show, his story, yeah. Good. I really wanna do more of this. I wanna do more of these real world stories, and that's what makes Friday a great show. I called Joel yesterday. Like I said, I've been getting up early. It was 5 o'clock in the morning. Joel drives full time still, so I never know what time zone he's in, but I thought, it's 5. I'm gonna give him a call and just see what's going on. So, Joel picked up the phone. He was in Cleveland, actually, delivering to a place I've been to myself because that's my old stomping grounds. But Joel's still out doing it every day. Matt's still out doing it every day. Ilya's out, as a new authority doing it every day. I want to start doing those real world stories. I love that kind of stuff. The problem is on this show, I just don't have time. I mean, I am cramming so much into this show. So I think what I'm going to do, I think the tribe site where it's a little more exclusive, I have more time, it's more relaxed. I can kind of just say, hey, we're going to just do something on Friday because I have some time. So we're going to put a lot more focus on that site for things like this, little deeper dives, things we don't have time for on this show, and that's one of the reasons we left this show free, just so I didn't feel like we had to cram more and more value into it all the time. I think we provide quite a bit, especially since we don't charge. But we're going to do more of that kind of stuff on the tribe site. Excellent. Good talking to you. All right. Yeah, Angie just verified. Matt made it to the ninth grade, which is both of my parents both dropped out in the ninth grade as well. Yeah. So there's a huge difference between intelligence and schooling. In fact, our school system is such a disaster now. I would say you are better off not going through it. Far better off. If there's any other way you can get educated, you'd be far better off. I just Bruce, you're like this too. I self-educate on almost everything. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. That's you know, absolutely. You know what I'm doing, and I'm glad I waited this long. Something I've wanted to do for as far back as I can remember. I want so bad to learn how to play the piano and keyboard. I've been thinking about it forever, and the reason I didn't do it because I do not wanna go take lessons from somebody. I don't wanna be taught how to read sheet music. I don't wanna have to go through the scales and do all that stuff. I wanted to figure out how can I teach myself how to play the piano? And I didn't know where to start, and I probably could have read some things, and I kept putting it off, but I mentioned it a month or so ago on the air, and Lisa was listening. And I'm sure I would have told her at some point, but maybe she heard it, really in my voice. I said it on the air. She got me the coolest little keyboard. I am so in love with this thing, and I posted a video. Bruce, I'll send it to you. I just last night, it took me, not exaggerating, about 100 attempts. I played a song on the keyboard, and I've only been using this thing for a week. I know nothing about music. I know nothing about chords and none of it. I'm clueless on this stuff. But this keyboard teaches you how on your own. You play video games with the keyboard so your fingers get good at coordination. Then when you do play a song, like in the video where I'm playing the keyboard, you get all of the backing tracks, including the vocals. So it's not like it's just me sitting there plinking away at keys. You watch me playing along like I'm playing along with the band. And I am so in love with this thing, I have to set a time limit on how much I practice every day or I won't get any work done. I found it, and the other thing I love here's what I wanna be able to do. At some point, maybe in the future, I'll learn how to read sheet music. I don't know. But all I wanna do now is I wanna and I'm already doing it. So I now it's just time and practice is all it's gonna take now. I can see the whole vision. I wanna be able to memorize songs and play them with no music in front of me. So I'll send you the video. Pretty proud of it. Yeah. Um, y you no, absolutely, but think about how good that is for your brain. So you would appreciate this. Are you in front of a computer? Go to Rolly.com, ROLI.com. The This keyboard is just incredible. I love this thing, and, I get it, it's gonna take a long time to memorize songs, but that's how I want to do it, and this makes it so much fun, and it really shortens the learning curve. The way this whole thing works is just incredible, and having all the backing tracks and the vocals, I'm playing along with Van Halen and, the video is actually a band I kind of had heard the name, couldn't have named one song by them because 'cause they're a little more modern. Coldplay, the song Clocks. Um, that's what I played on and it's a really simple version of it. And the cool thing is the keyboard that I have has 24 keys. And then when I want to expand, I buy another 24 key and they just snap together magnetically and I can expand it out to a full keyboard. But right now, and there's something else they did that I think was really smart. Their keys are smaller. Everybody I've ever talked to said one of the problems on a piano is if you have small hands, you're gonna struggle. And this keyboard. Yeah, right, right. This keyboard makes it easier, and they said even the average person struggles on a piano because of that. Right. Saxophone. Really? I don't know, as soon as you said that as soon as you asked the question, saxophone popped right into my head. Hey hey, Bruce, uh, Bruce, you know the band, Bob Seger, right? And the Silver Bullet Band? Do you know what his saxophone player's name is? Alto Reed. Yeah, I'm sure it's a stage name, that couldn't just be a but as soon as I heard that, I'm like, "Really?" Yeah, his name's Alto Reed. Thought that was awesome. Oh, yeah, no, I can't remember it either. Hey, I wanna do one more thing. I've turned off the phones because I gotta get out of here at 10. I got a CMC this afternoon. I gotta get ready for it. Um, we've got 2 calls, so you guys hang on, but don't you guys wanna know what the cliffhanger was all about? Alright, so let's go back. I'm thinking it was probably around 2017, 2018. There were some topics we were talking a lot about: electric trucks, autonomous trucks, and remember blockchain? Anybody? No, really? So blockchain was being talked about everywhere. They said blockchain was this new computer technology. They talked about things called smart contracts, and we were going to be able to connect every piece of data to every other piece of data seamlessly, and it was going to change our lives. I studied it as hard as I could possibly study something, and I came away and on the air many times I said, I don't get it. I understand the technology. I can't think of a single practical application in our real life. I've looked at it from a business standpoint. Could I use this? I couldn't come up with anything. The only thing I'm aware of, and there may be some other things, the only thing I'm aware of that actually runs on blockchain. Blockchain is a technology that's going to make a lot of other things possible. The only thing I'm aware of that's actually running on blockchain is cryptocurrencies. That is a blockchain technology. It's not blockchain. It uses blockchain to exist. Without blockchain, I don't think digital currencies could exist. But other than that, I hadn't seen any use of it. And I've been watching and waiting and thinking, okay, what happened to this whole blockchain thing? And just over the last couple of weeks, the most recent and the most exciting one, I got a call on Friday. Actually, somebody reached out to me on X, which is becoming just a really important platform for me. They reached out to me on X. They said, "Hey, look, we follow what you do, and we have a business proposition we want to talk to you about." And I had some time that day, and I said, "Look," I said, I could get together in an hour if we need to." And I got on a Zoom call, and within about 10 minutes of being on the Zoom call, I said, um, "You guys don't mind, I need to get my business IT guy in here because we need to talk about this. So here's blockchain is about to explode. It's already exploding. We just don't know it. You are seeing companies pop up doing things that nobody was doing before. And I'm only going to focus on trucking, but this is gonna have huge impacts everywhere. Here's what it's going to do in trucking. And this is what we're already working on. Back out to this company again today so we can keep our conversation going. AI is what made blockchain explode. Blockchain is too complicated and too expensive to try to set up anything on it. Even big companies, it didn't make sense for them to do this. AI changed all that. And here's what blockchain is going to do. What they promised is now possible. Um, I'm going to give you an example that we're working on, and I almost don't want to let this out, except I've looked at it and somebody's going to compete with us on this, but I don't really care because we're so far ahead of everybody in so many ways on this. I'm just going to jump into this. You will now be able to connect data from all kinds of crazy places really easy and make it all work together. And here's the example that we're working on first for our tribe, and it is going to, if this all pans out, and I think it will, it's going to revolutionize our company. So the product that I have that I am most proud of, and I think could have helped many, many more people than it ever did, is our Profit Gauges accounting software. The people who use it do better than almost anybody else. If you're going to run a business, you got to run it by the numbers. I'm a numbers profit guy. And I was so excited about all the work we put into Profit Gauges. There's nothing else like it on the market. And yet we have very little usage. We can't get people to use it. We made it as simple as I thought we could. And it was as simple as you could make it up until now. But you still had to sit down once a month and you had to gather up all your receipts, and you had to add things up, and you had to enter them into the program. You had to take your settlements, and you had to enter all that data into the program once a month. I mean, it's not like we're asking you to do your accounting every day, but these guys are truck drivers. And that's not an insult. They just don't like paperwork. I don't either. I had to learn how to do it just because I knew if I was going to run a business, I had to grow a business. So I gave up on marketing that product a long time ago. We have our dedicated users, and our user base gets smaller and smaller every year just because of attrition. And I gave up marketing it. I can't afford to spend all the time marketing it when I can't get people to use it. Here's what's going to happen. We will have the ability now to issue a Let's Truck debit card. And if you use that debit card, there's a ton of advantages I could talk about, but this one's what I'm going to focus on because this is the cool thing about the technology. If you swipe that debit card for every business purchase, fuel, maintenance, parts, food, supplies, whatever, um, that every entry will get categorized and put into profit gauges without you doing anything at all. So if you invoice customers, the invoice will go through our digital wallet and card and app, and all of your revenue will be entered without you doing anything. Now we have your income and expenses. There's only a couple pieces of data left. And if you are also, we can interface with your ELD. And if you want to interface with your ELD, we will now have all of your miles accurate, more accurate than your odometer, and we will have your nights away from home. You will do absolutely, you won't have one keystroke and all of your accounting. You will have all of those cool profit gauges reports we always talk about, and you won't do a thing. And we don't have to raise the price of the product a penny, and we can probably give you back the same kind of rewards on your card, on a debit card, that you currently get on a credit card. Maybe. The fees, I still got to do some math on those things. And I'm positive we don't have to raise the price on the program. We may even be able to make it less expensive than the $19 a month we charge now. We've never raised our price once on that product. But that is just scratching the surface of what we're able to gather here. I believe I have to talk to the company about this, but Bruce, you guys have probably explored some options around this because you're already doing remote tuning. What if we could bring you that data right from their ECM while they're driving down the road really easily and inexpensively? And telemetrics exists right now at the OEM level because it's outrageously expensive to do it. I think, based on what I understand about this technology, it will become dirt cheap and we could customize it. You're not going to be stuck with what the OEM offers. We might be able to plug in a device and grab that data for a really inexpensive cost. The other thing that you're gonna get the profit gauges stuff, you're also all of our fuel gauges app users. I mean, we have like 100,000 fuel gauges users because we don't charge for it and it's not that hard to put the data in. That would all be automated too. You would just open up our app and your fuel mileage on every tank would be there and it would be more accurate. You didn't have to do anything to get it. And if you are a carrier and you have to file your fuel tax would be automated. Now you get to go drive the truck and run the business and forget all about the paperwork. And we'll give you better data than you've ever had to help you make good business decisions. I, I'm I'm kind of letting the cat out of the bag really early here, but I spent since Friday, I've spent a lot of time looking into this, and I think what this company is telling me is all possible. And that is going to there's going to be so many applications for this. You're gonna see products and companies pop up, and you're gonna go, "Who are these people, and what are they doing?" And stuff we've just never seen before. So I'll let you guys think about that. We do. We're gonna grab them right now. We're going to Arkansas. Richard, welcome. Well, the beauty the beauty here here's the other beauty of this technology and why this is gonna happen. When this company first started talking to me and they started talking about numbers, that's the next step. We're gonna get together and actually put hard numbers on paper, and then I'll be able to know more of what costs are gonna be. But what's happening is we have to deal, Bruce, you deal with this, we deal with it. We have payment processors for our credit cards. We've got all kinds of middlemen in between on all of our transactions, and everybody takes a piece of the pie. It's kind of like the way you guys feel with brokers, but at least the brokers providing some real value that I can see. These all these little payment processors that are in these financial transactions grab a little piece, and I don't even know that they're there or what they're doing. They don't feel like they're providing any value to me. This technology eliminates most of them, and those fees are what is going to allow us to offer this at such a good price. We could grab all those fees and just keep them ourselves, but I like the idea of we'll take a little piece that makes our business better, and we'll give back to our users some of that money and make this really affordable for them. I I should probably send the people at Sirius a Christmas gift every year. Always. I never had a hard starting Series 60. You're welcome. All right, let's grab the final call today. Ray, are you there in the building at Pittsburgh Power? Oh, got it. Okay. Your truck's in the building. All right. What's on your mind today? It's just right. There you go. And that matters. Yeah, right. I get it. That's why we teach that's why we teach the difference between fixed cost and variable cost. If you keep your fixed cost very low, then you have the ability to take more time off. I mean, that's one of the reasons to track those kind of costs that way. There you go. That's right. I love it. You're welcome. Great way to end the show. All right. Bruce, did you get that video? All right. That is- yeah, love that. All right. Thanks as always to the team from Pittsburgh Power. We appreciate it, and we will do it again next week. Hope everybody's having a good a time as I am, and I hope it all continues, and I think it's going to. So we'll see you back here tomorrow. I think I'm going to make an executive decision on the fly here. I'm going to schedule another morning um, group chat, video call, whatever we want to call it. We're going to free for all. We're going to play around with some things. You know, Bruce, one of the other things, the original idea why I started this, because I'm back to goal setting. I got away from that for a long time. I'm excited about a lot of things. I got a lot of goals I'm working on, a lot of habits I'm trying to create. And it always helps to have somebody keep you accountable. You know, and I get up in the morning and I look and I go, I should really do that, but I don't feel like it. If I know that somewhere along the day somebody's going to ask me about it and I have to say, yeah, I didn't do it, I'm much more likely to do it. So I'm also using this morning call as kind of an accountability group. If you've got some goals, come on in and join us. We'll all keep each other accountable to things. So, have you been on the tribe site at all? Are you a member in there? I don't know if you are. Let me. Right, right. So it's Let's Truck. Well, and since then it changed. There used to be 2 different websites, truckingtribe.com and healthytribe.com. We've merged the 2 to make it much easier. So it's letstrucktribe.com. And if you go there and you have a login and you try it, you know, you'll get in. If not, we'll get you an account. And once you log in, then it's simple. You're going to see the event. You just click on it. It's just like being in a Zoom call, but it's in our site. No, nope. Thursday morning, 7 a.m. Pacific time. That'll be our next one. Yeah. Yep. All right. All right, everybody. See you tomorrow for Destination Health. I have a guest. She's the author of Metabolic Kitchen, a pretty cool cookbook you probably want to get. We'll be talking to her, and I've got a ton of new health stuff I want to talk about as well. So it should be a great show tomorrow. Be safe, be profitable, be fit and healthy. Always do the hard work and master the journey.